Hey, I'm Houston Vandiver here interviewing Jason Atkisson. We're going to talk a little bit about Jason's move here to America. Jason, why don't you tell me where you're from?
Originally, I was born in Germany. Hometown is called Bad Hersfeld. I lived there until I was about 11, about to turn 12 years old, and moved to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Ever since stayed here.
How old were you when you moved here?
Just about to turn 12, about a month before.
So, what grade of school?
The grade that I started when I came here was eighth grade.
Okay, and how much English did you know when you moved here?
Oh man, just the basics pretty much. So when I was still in Germany, I had the beginning because I moved like in the middle of a semester. So I had the very beginning of like English one is what you would consider it, which means you learn like the words like house, car, and apple, and other things, but conversation wise, nothing.
So you weren't able to be in like classes with other people.
Um, I wasn't able to do like subjects like English and stuff like that, but I started school here about a week after I arrived here, and immediately became one of the top like people in the class in like geography and math and science and that shit. But
So
English
did you
was
have like your own like special teacher or translator or someone that helped you?
I actually joined all classes like with the other students, but besides those classes, I did have. It's called ELDA, which is like English Language Development Association, which is like teaches students from other countries, to slowly fit in with the language, that you get thrown into.
And so you went from middle school here to high school, right?
Right. I went to middle school here, eighth grade, and then I went to high school here as well, and then went to
So
coastal.
did you get more confident with
Yeah.
English when as you moved into high school?
I mean, I never had like it was never really like a confidence issue because I mean I knew. I mean, I was doing everything logically. Like I was from another country. Like I wasn't supposed to come here and know English well. Like I wasn't. It was never really like about confidence. It was just learning over time.
No, I just meant confident in like how much English you knew and how much English you could
Right. I mean, it was hard to
like
like.
communicating with people and whatnot.
Right. I mean, it was hard to like communicate at first. Like I needed to have like a little dictionary with me at all times. Just because of things that I didn't know. But it wasn't that hard to start learning and like figuring it out because if you get thrown into it, I think it's a lot easier to learn other than if you're learning and then going somewhere.
So what would you say are some of the benefits to being able to speak multiple languages, especially throughout high school and now that you've graduated college?
Well, speaking like schooling wise, I feel like because I came from another system of education and then got thrown into the system of education, I have a lot more perspective. What I noticed a lot of differences between the students that I was with versus how I was learning and acting. Um, my grades were, I was a B plus, A minus kind of student here immediately, and there were people who I had classes with who were so confused by how I would complete assignments as quick as possible at the same time as perfect as possible versus who them struggling so hard with their assignments because the way they were taught how to do them I think may have not been the best way to do it.
So you're saying there's a big difference between the educational system in Germany and the educational
Absolutely.
system. So
Very, very different.
can you tell me a little bit about that?
So let's go to statistics in a minute from like my personal opinion speaking. Like I said, I was over there and school over there is branched off into three different branches and those depend on your grades. I was always, in the middle branch, but like very close to the top of the middle branch, like B plus, A minus kind of student. When I came here, everyone did the same thing. No one has individually learned anything. And that doesn't work because everyone learns things differently. And if you do the same exact method for every single person, the people who struggle with that method will never succeed.
So you're saying that in Germany they make it easier for people with different learning styles.
They branch it off so that the students who are struggling with certain things more get more help in those subjects versus people who have easier times in those subjects. They don't need to have so much time and spend into it. They can use that time to learn new things.
I got you. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So when you were in high school, were you still taking all the same classes with
Right.
everyone else?
Yeah.
And what about like when you moved into college? How did being able to speak to like is that something you put on your resume like for college? Like do you think that?
So for college speaking, I actually majored in communications and I have a minor in German because of reasons such as I wanted to be a professor in German and be able to teach it, not just because that is something that like is naturally in me to do, but also because I like helping people get better and stuff like that. I think learning other languages is a very, very important thing to do, to learn aspects, to learn, communication with other cultures, to learn the cultures themselves, and just to understand each other is a lot better for the entire world than to not know anything about each other.
So, I guess as a whole, how do you think that I guess the system could be better to make it easier for people to transition from other countries into our education system here, or vice versa? Just to make it easier to, as you were saying, help people who have different, needs have those needs met.
I mean, I think it's hard right now. I think it's very hard for people to transition into new systems because a lot of people are just not open or accepting of people who try to expand themselves. Like when I first came here, I didn't feel so much of a struggle because I never thought of it like that. But there's struggles a lot, especially with people who are here and people who are wanting to be here from somewhere else. So accepting wise with a language, I think there's a lot of things that need to be done better.
Okay, and so do you think that I guess your education was hindered by your move here, or you know what
I
I mean? Like,
if okay, so I can
say
say
you had
yes.
say you had never left Germany. Do you think that your the path that you were on would have? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you think that your
Um,
move like I guess helped or slowed you down
I
as far as
got
I
you.
guess your professional goals go?
So what I believe is that if I were to stay in the education system that I was in, I would have been better off in the end, education wise. For example, when I moved here, I was like I said, in eighth grade, I was the top of my classes of the subjects that I could understand, like science, geography, math, that stuff. And then slowly over time, I was here in high school, I was here in college. I feel like I started, you know, I guess I don't know if this is the right word, but conforming to the group. I
Mm-hmm.
like my learning level, my speed of learning, kind of like in school especially because I started learning at their pace. This is a good way to say it. I started being on the local people's pace, which I believe slowed me down in learning. And then the advantages that I had because of how I have learned slowly it became less and less. And then in coastal, when I went to coastal, I believe that I was almost at least at the same level as everyone else, except the fact that I could speak German.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Well, Jason, I really appreciate your time today. Is there anything else you'd like to?
not a problem. I don't know. I don't think I got anything else to
All
add.
right, well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Not a problem.